currently when we go camping, we use our trusty Cadac. It's the 2-Cook Pro. So we get it out of our gas locker, we put it here in the kitchen area of the Hero Camper. As you can see, it takes up, a reasonable bit of room, but it stays here the whole camping trip. So I figured there's basically no point having a portable gas stove that we keep on getting out and then just leaving it here the whole week. Let's install something permanent in the kitchen area of our Hero Camper Ranger. So one of the most nervous parts of this install is obviously going to be cutting a hole for the hob in the kitchen area of the Hero Camper Ranger. So what I've done is I've taken the box basically that the stove or the hob came in, measured around the hob itself, and then tried to understand kind of what dimensions the inner piece needs to be cut according to the stuff in the manual. Not that helpful in my opinion, but as you can see, I've basically just drawn a template, cut things out, and then made a cutout, then put the hob in there to make sure that it fits, doesn't catch anything, and it seems pretty good. And then we end up with this template here. So the main things that seem to be important, also you're going to have a curved edge around the front, but at the back you need it to be at like I think it's a 35-degree angle or something in the book, so that it's going to clamp in okay. And then you may have to trim a little bit out the back for where the hinge is. So that's kind of my template. And basically the easiest way, well at least how I found it, when you've drawn the outline of your stove, you want to kind of go in by 1 centimetre, do another circle all the way in, because that's going to be the main part of your cutout, and will give you kind of a rough idea of kind of what you want, and then you can tweak it from there. So what I'm going to do now is I want this to be in the middle basically of the middle drawer where the fridge and everything is, to make sure there's enough clearance underneath and also it looks aesthetically pleasing. So I'm going to mask off the sides of this drawer so that I know where kind of the middle piece is, then find the middle of there, and then start kind of roughly putting the template where I think it's going to go. Then we'll start drawing Sharpie on the worktop. Good luck. Okay, so what I've done, I've put the tape across here to measure. It's basically 49.5 centimetres between the two drawers. So I've marked the middle point just here, and at the back I've also got another piece of tape where I've marked 13.5 centimetres from the back, because that is the spacing distance you should have for your hob. So then what we're going to do is we take our cutout template, and then we can start trying to position things where we want them. So we've got the middle line on the template and the middle line on the drawer, and basically if it fits anywhere in here and obviously not too close to the back, then it's going to be just perfect. So let me just kind of work out where I think things are going to go, and then we can draw that dreaded line around the template. Okay, so that's it, that's where we're going to go for it. So I took a little dotted line here past the fitting wire because you got a centimetre of gap that runs round, but I think it's better to have more room at the back because I still will have some things hang up over here. Obviously a room for the door to open and go straight up. And it won't be as important that we have anything at the front. So I'm going to draw around the template, and then we're going to cut into it. Okay, so just draw around this with a Sharpie so we can take these bits off. We're in the template. Okay, so now we have our cutout. So I'm going to put masking tape around the outside of where I'm cutting so that when the jigsaw's on there it doesn't wreck the metal of the worktop that's still going to be here. And then I'm probably going to cut it slightly indented so that I've got wiggle room. You can always take more off, but obviously you can't add stuff back. So I'll get this all masking taped up, and then we do the scary thing of drilling and jigsawing into this. Okay, so this is all masked up now, so when we cut round we shouldn't scratch the worktop. So all I need to do now is drill a hole, get the jigsaw, cut this out, and hope that things fit in there. Okay, so I am incredibly nervous. I've just got a brand new jigsaw bit which I'm about to put in. Batteries have got enough charge in them, and I've got a 10mm drill bit to drill my pilot hole. Let's do it. One thing I forgot to say before cutting up this worktop is obviously if you're deciding to do anything like this yourself, I hold no responsibility. So if you're not competent doing DIY, get someone else to do it, pay the professionals. If you are doing it yourself, remember, protect your eyes, protect your ears, especially with any DIY work, but especially this kind of job. The jigsaw is going to make a lot of noise in a confined space. It's going to damage your ears and you might get some metal pop up into your eyes. So put your eyeglasses on, put your earmuffs on, and yeah, look after yourself. Let's do this. Okay, so the preliminary hole has been cut, so I'm expecting this not to fit. I'm expecting it to be too small, too tight. So as mentioned, I've kind of cut about another centimetre in of the template, so it should be, you know, a centimetre too tight potentially. I still went kind of out towards the back here because obviously where the hinged back is, it does need a little bit more room, so I purposely kept a bit of room there, but then just kind of jigged out around here. Did get through one of the blades, so again cutting through this metal and the wood. Don't know how well it's going to focus, but you can see nice sharp teeth at the top there. It's not focusing, is it? Nice sharp teeth there. Obviously then it's gone out of the bottom, so I'm going to grab the hob, offer it up into position, see what's going, and then thing needs a dust and everything, see how we go on. Okay, so here we go. Expect this not to fit too well, if at all, but we shall see. Yep, it's not slotting in, which is what I expected. So the good news is, looking at kind of where things are, it gives me a good indication of just how close and how tight it is that I might need to adjust slightly. So have a look underneath. It's actually not too bad, so I'm definitely glad I cut it a little bit tighter. Let me move the camera around and I'll show you what I mean, and then how I'm going to just kind of cut things off just a little bit, and then that should adjust things exactly and where we need them, so it all fits flush. But yeah, let me show you. So you can see here, these things are pretty close to the corners, but then you've got the bit of metal flashing here. You can see it better on this side. So it's just here, and obviously it needs to sit in here. So I think if I guess the good news is if I go to the border that I've done, it probably is going to fit pretty well. If we look from underneath here, we can see again at the backs, it's not going to be too bad, I think. So a bit more work to do. A lot of cleaning. Obviously you need to run gas pipes and whatever, but sort some things out. Mark up a little bit more cutting. I think we're going to be good. So I've hit a snag. Basically the template has worked pretty well. However, I don't know how you're going to see. The tolerances, this gap is exactly the right size, but the hob itself has these little kind of lower metal pieces that kind of slot into place that are probably about, I don't know, 5 mil, maybe a little bit more deep, and that's exactly where the side of the unit is on the camper. So it's real small, so I'm trying to work out how to kind of cut around that because there's the metal framing way out. Let me show you. So excuse the mess because I haven't tied up yet, but as you can see here, this is the frame of the Hero right here. I don't know, let me see if I can cover it up. Yeah, so this is the frame of the Hero, and this is the worktop. You can see I've cut flush, but I need to kind of come out a few mil just to accompany that a little bit. So I'm going to try and cut it out with a hacksaw. So I've made a kind of starter holes to try and then cut at an angle. The main issue is, again, because it's metal, it curls up a little bit, which makes things a little bit tricky, but the rest of it's not going too bad. Obviously they're at the front and the back as well, which is easy. You just kind of cut things out a little bit, but obviously at the sides you can't do that. Okay, so I end up resorting to an angle grinder because this stainless steel top is quite tough, and I had to obviously cut through from the top to have to get at the bottom pieces. So I don't know how well you have to see this, just here. So I just needed to cut the indent, and yes, so we now have a nice hole. So I'm going to tidy and clean up all the worktop here, and then offer this up, and yeah, we should be good. I think the only things that a bit disappointing about this hob, it doesn't come with a rubber seal or anything, so I may put some silicone around the side to finish it up, but I'll wait until I've cleared off all the surface to make sure it's not going to get too scratched, and then at least the hob will be positioned in and just the gas to do. Finished the installation of the hob, as you can see here. I won't lie, it was harder than I thought it'd be, but hopefully some of the things I mentioned in this video will make it easier for you. So again, that template worked really well. Need the angle grinder to cut out the kind kind of little slots. That's what took most of the time, trying to decide what was the best tool to do that with. And it actually took me quite a long time to get the masking tape off of the countertop that I'd put on, as well as the masking tape that came on the hob itself. So to finish things off, I've put a bead of silicone all the way around the outside, as well as silicone as I put it in, basically just to make sure that any water that kind of gets spilt or anything on the worktop isn't going to easily flow through and underneath. Then I've obviously had to connect the brackets that the hob connects into, and the thickness of the Hero Camper kitchen worktop isn't quite thick enough, so I cut some extra pieces of wood and just basically glued those on with hot glue, and then that enabled things to grip in as well. So both the silicone and those grips are gripping things in all together. And then I just connected it up to the gas connection that I've already put in the back area behind where the fridge is. If you've seen one of my other videos, I showed how I installed the gas barbecue outlet, which I was using before, and basically I just teed off of that, put another isolator in behind the fridge, and then enabled that all to connect up to the worktop. I need to wait till Monday now to have someone come and check the gas before I check everything out. I've checked it myself for leaks, it all looks good, but I'd like to make sure someone who is certified to do this has a proper little look. But I think it's come out really well. I'm happy with how it looks and how it functions. Let me just spin the camera around so you can see. So this is it, all nicely installed. If you look in here, you can still fit all the crud and corruption in here that I still had before. And basically I've connected up the 12 volt to the 12 volt socket that the fridge uses, and put a 1 amp fuse in there, so that all works as expected. As you can see here, it is all nice and flush with the worktop. So, you know, you can put things on here. I'm not sure how much the glass may get scratched, but we'll see how things go over time. Let's pop this up here, and you can see that there is still clearance behind as well, so that's all good. Behind here is little Torx screws that you kind of tighten down, which makes the clamps raise up to connect into there. And obviously then with the igniter clipped into the 12 volt, that will work like that. But yeah, I think it looks really good. I think it makes, you know, the kitchen look complete, a bit more versatile. No more having to get out the Cadac when we're camping. So I'm really looking forward to the first trip and seeing how it works. Yeah, I think it's good, and I don't think I've seen anyone else yet doing the two gas burner. I've seen ones that are the kind of triangular 3 gas burner, but the reason I went for this is I want to be able to use larger pans. So you can see 15 centimeters is okay on this one, and 22 centimeters on this one, whereas with the 3 burner kits you're restricted onto the size of pan is smaller than that. I don't think you're ever going to use all 3 of them, but the other advantage of having this here in the middle is that over here I could have a singular induction hob and just have that plugged in over here if I felt the need for a third one, but I don't think I'm going to need that. So this video kind of helped, gave you some idea of what's involved in fitting one of these 2 burner gas hobs. I'll put a link down in the description to my Amazon web store, along with some other links to other areas where I got the products I've used to install and fit this all in. Again, a longer job. I think knowing what I know now, I probably could have done it in probably half a day, but it took me just over a day in the end. Again, mainly just with all the mess around with the cutting and getting that just right to fit in there, and the rest of it went pretty smoothly. But yeah, I think it's really good, and looking forward to the future camping trips. So any questions, feel free to ask them down in the comments. I will read them and do my best to get back to you. But that's it. Thank you very much for watching this Spectrum Geeks video. Take care of yourself, and till the next one, bye for now.